Donka Ebola Treatment Center in Conakry, Guinea. Every person who comes here to be vaccinated is first required to sign a consent form. This is because here they are running a clinical trial designed to test out the Ebola vaccine. MSF, which is taking part in the clinical trial, has already vaccinated over 1,200 people working on the front line against the disease.
Before anyone else, it's the medical staff who are the most exposed. So I recommend that everyone comes here. You never know in life. We're the ones who are in direct contact with sick people all the time. So it's essential to come and take the vaccine just in case.
Another aspect of the clinical trial consists of testing the vaccine at the homes of those who come into contact with an infected person. The first results demonstrate high effectiveness. The study will now continue, mainly to test out this vaccine on a larger cohort of people and find out how long they are protected.
Now we need to use these new findings, this new information, to help stop the virus from being transmitted as it is in Guinea and Sierra Leone. We're going to ask the various national authorities to include these new findings in the intervention approach.
Despite the Ebola epidemic having slowed down, it continues to spread at an alarming pace. In the past few months, 20 to 30 new cases a week have been recorded. A year ago, MSF alerted the international community about the urgent need to invest in action to fight this disease. Help did finally arrive in the field, but now efforts appear to be slackening off. However, until a vaccine is introduced on a wide scale, the threat will not go away. In Liberia, where the end of the epidemic was announced back in early May, 6 new cases of contamination occurred during the summer.
With the comeback of Ebola, from what I saw, the community is ready though this time. I think other than our hospital, I think the impact of community health promotion is going to be huge, and we need to focus on that to get some of these messages out.
The return of Ebola in Liberia may be the result of contamination by a survivor, a possibility that needs to be researched further to understand both the risks regarding transmission of the virus as well as the secondary effects victims may suffer after being declared Ebola-free.
3 days ago, I started feeling pain in my joints, in my head. That's why I came to the hospital. Sometimes I can have a bad dream. Sometimes I don't sleep because when I'm thinking, I will not be able to sleep. I can't sleep.
The Ebola vaccine represents a chance to break the cycle of new transmission and bring an end to the outbreak. Since it opened in May, the MSF clinic in Abday has been running at full capacity. The staff are seeing an average of 100 patients a day, Lebanese as well as Syrian, since the problem of accessing healthcare is not limited to refugees.
It's a governorate whose population mainly lived off agriculture and were already in extreme poverty. Abday is on the coast as you make your way up to Tripoli. It's a place with a high concentration of refugees, and many of them live in makeshift camps in deplorable living conditions, with little access to healthcare. Since there are very, very few healthcare facilities in this area, public or private, MSF decided to set up operations there to offer primary healthcare in the region.
The clinic is primarily focused on sexual and reproductive health and providing treatment to those with chronic illnesses, as many Syrians stopped receiving healthcare following the outbreak of war. For example, this man has to take drugs daily after undergoing open-heart surgery. 2.5 years after fleeing Syria, he pays $250 a month to share a garage with 7 members of his family. The Burundian refugees getting out of this truck fled conflict that has shaken their country for several months, leaving at least 80 dead and forcing 150,000 people to leave their homes. Those arriving in Nyarugusu will have to crowd into collective shelters, as the MSF teams on the ground are already overstretched tackling this huge influx of refugees.
Right now we are struggling with the space. You can see it's really crowded here. So we are trying to get more space. Today we are building a new tent with capacity of 10 beds, and hopefully it will be enough for next few days. But right now, because of the influx of Burundi's refugees, there's a lot of malnourished kids who needs to be hospitalized. So in next days we need to think about some solution for increasing our capacity.
Malnutrition is not the most critical problem. The most common diseases are malaria and respiratory infections. In May, a cholera epidemic also broke out due to poor living conditions. To prevent further outbreaks, MSF teams vaccinated 130,000 people and are distributing clean water across the camp daily. There are 600 different types of venomous snake, and their bites produce different symptoms. Not all are fatal, but they can lead to complications such as amputation, kidney failure, or chronic neurological disorders. Yet snake bites remain an all too neglected public health issue. Few antivenoms adapted for use in developing countries can stop the effects of multiple types of venom simultaneously. Fav-Afrique, however, is effective against the venom of at least 10 of the most dangerous snakes found in sub-Saharan Africa. It is used extensively by MSF teams in the field. Take Pawa in northwest Central African Republic, where the teams treat 300 to 400 people with snake bites every year. The chief culprit here is the Echis ocellatus viper, whose venom is among the most dangerous in the world, killing around 10% of its victims. The mortality rate drops to under 0.5% when antivenom serum Fav-Afrique is administered in time. But between 2016 and 2019, Fav-Afrique will be unobtainable. At the current rate, in Pawa alone, over 1,000 patients are in danger of not receiving treatment and suffering serious complications, and 100 of them may even die. To understand why there will be no serum in the upcoming years, we have to go back to 2010. In 2010, Sanofi decided to halt production of Fav-Afrique, viewing it unprofitable. The decision was only made public 3 years later. Sanofi produced its last batch of serum in 2014, which will expire in 2016. A transfer of technology is underway to enable another laboratory to take over production, but the new serum will not be available until 2019. Manufacturing the antivenom is complex. It begins with extracting snake venom, which is diluted and injected into a horse, as the horse's immune system produces antibodies that can then be harvested. The serum is then purified prior to being packaged. The whole process takes about 2 years. It's Sanofi's responsibility to provide a temporary solution in the interim. If production of the serum doesn't start up again soon, thousands of lives will be endangered. But any such solution can at best provide only temporary relief for an unreliable system. The manufacturing process of antivenoms is as archaic as it is inefficient. It's time that more serums adapted for use in developing countries be made available for victims.
Plusieurs fois sur un des camps de déplacés qui se trouve un petit peu à l'extérieur de la ville. En discutant avec les déplacés, on avait ces petits-enfants qui arrivaient vers toi et qui simplement te demandent des céréales et de la nourriture. J'ai déjà travaillé plusieurs fois dans des camps de réfugiés ou dans ce genre de situation où la population se concentre. Mais j'ai trouvé que c'était vraiment particulier sur le plan de l'accès à l'alimentation, parce qu'une des choses vraiment choquantes, et là je pèse bien mes mots, dans la situation des déplacés au Yémen, c'est que l'aide internationale, de la communauté internationale, les agences onusiennes, est sur le terrain et en pratique réellement absente, ou quasi inexistante. La plupart des segments d'aide qui doivent être fournis, que ce soit par rapport aux maladies chroniques, que ce soit par rapport à l'eau, à la sanitation, à l'accès à l'alimentation, à la coordination de l'aide. Tous ces axes-là sont absents, alors que c'est une aide qui est financée, qui est présente. Et on en arrive à des situations où les familles entières ne vivent uniquement que de la charité et de la solidarité des populations d'accueil. Et on en arrive à ce petit gosse hein, qui devait avoir 4 ans, et qui ne savait dire autre chose que de demander de l'alimentation et juste des céréales, très simple, aux expatriés qui venaient pour fournir des soins médicaux. C'est réellement quelque chose d'assez, bien sûr, hein, d'assez émouvant, et on a juste envie de crier un coup de gueule et de dire à l'aide internationale, mais venez et puis faites le taf, parce que réellement, ces populations ont réellement besoin de soutien, et la situation pourrait encore se détériorer.